All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So, as I said, a quick little break right there, and sure enough, we are already in game number 3. So, Trademark Esports taking on Complexity. Again, it's been an interesting day today, but hey, at the same time, from what we've seen at least of this series so far, it really has been a fun series. Complexity, of course, coming out in game number 1, looking very strong and eventually winning that game. And then Trademark Esports, on the other hand, having a very aggressive early game lineup. They got off to a decent start, it seemed like, but Madman being played by Haxman was just a crazy farm. But still, even that wasn't enough for Complexity. And Trademark Esports, though, played it very, very well. So here we are, 12th game number 3. Are we ready?
Of course we're ready. Let's get right into it, guys, because it's well, they jumped in it very, very quickly. Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into game 3. Complexity taking on tdM.
Here we go. Complexity, Legion side, tdM, Hellborn side. Again, this is for a spot in the winners bracket finals. We don't know their opponent yet because, as you mentioned, Fortune Bakery apparently did take out Vote in the second game, so that series is actually also going to be going to a third game. In fact, I don't even know if they're in it right now. Let me actually check on that real quickly. It looks like nope, they are not in it just yet. Oh, they might be actually. I'm not able to monitor the monitor game. They are in their third and final game. So the winner of that will play the winner of this series in the winners bracket finals next weekend, of course, where the loser of the series, both of the series, will fall down to the losers bracket, of course, being a double elimination tournament. But win here again. In the end, it actually ultimately guarantees a top 3 spot as well. I got a lot. That's more prize money, more points, amongst everything else. So, and really, hell, there could be nothing on the line. But Complexity and tdM, they're both playing to win, no matter what's on the line. So.
Yeah, obviously emotions are a little bit heightened today too, because Complexity really did want to reschedule, and tdM didn't want to. Obviously, Complexity was having some lag issues, specifically with Beacon's internet. And, you know, tdM doesn't have the right, or they have the right to just say that, you know, we want to play the scheduled time. But it does kind of make things a little dicey, and it creates a little bit more drama. As you saw, actually, last game, not a single GG.
Yeah, I didn't see any from Complexity. I thought I didn't see that happen, and sure enough, I guess I was correct. Yeah. Hey, it's again.
I think it makes it more exciting.
No, I was actually about to say that. You know, as a spectator and everything, it's good to be good-mannered and everything. You know, say GG well played and shake their hands and everything. But I personally have never had a problem. You know, with the occasional, shit talking and the occasional well, we just really don't like you guys, and it does make it a little bit more exciting for us as spectators. So, hey, you know what? Have a feud, guys. By all means. But these are the top 2 teams in the world, so that even makes it that much cooler, right? Anyways, we're moving on to this game here. We have the blind bans that initially happened. We had Parasite Tempest from Complexity, Wild Soul and Fade coming out for Trademark. The lock pool, Bubbles into Keeper of the Force Ophelia, Plague Rider Polywog Priest, and then final lock, Wretched Hag, Banning Phase, Engineer, Tundra, and Demented Shaman so far. So, yeah, some not too many crazy things happening here off the bat between these 2 teams. We jumped into the game late, but how did that Madman pick come about? I want
to know too. But like I said, when you look at this, is normally how locks and bans begin, especially between tdM and Complexity. Is there's usually a lot of hard carries still open, like Mage Bane, Silhouette, Dark Lady, hell, even Kronos.
Yeah.
I feel like Kronos has much more late game potential than Madman. So I just don't know about the Madman pick. Even Moon Queen, you know?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Moon Queen is probably left open. Like, there's just a lot of hard carries usually left open. So, yeah, I'm curious to see. Maybe it was in the lock and they kind of got screwed somehow. But usually Beacon plays safe in the lock pool. As we see right here, lots of junglers and suicides. I mean, his locks were Bubbles, Bubbles, Plague, and Polly. So 2 of those 3 were suicides.
Again, we didn't actually see it, but I would put money on that it wasn't in the lock pool. It just seems like that was a pick that they just happened to go with kind of on the fly. And, well, it just did. Again, I don't want to say that it didn't work out because, obviously, again, he had amazing farm, and there was a lot more things that went wrong in that game for Complexity for sure. But, maybe having a Moon Queen with the same farm might have been more impactful.
I think the turning point is, okay, they pushed when they were ahead. They had massive amounts of farm onto Madman, who had the Token of Life. They were pushing mid, and they massively lost the team fight.
Yeah.
Why? Honestly, because Beacon jumped in when they shouldn't have. He really shouldn't have dove that far. All they need to do is sit behind Madman, poke at the tower as much as they could with all the massive armor. Okay, I was going to say, because they actually banned it last time when they were in the first position, but I was like, are they afraid of picking Zephyr? because it was available to them last time, but they banned it. But they do pick it this time. So I actually like watching Zephyr. I think he's a very fun hero to watch.
No, that was a snap pick if I ever saw him, man. I mean, he was spamming that Zephyr, and as soon as it allowed him to, he picked it up. So clearly had that in mind going through this banning phase. Speaking of that, it finished off with Draconis, Silhouette, and Pebbles, actually. So, but yeah, Zephyr the first pick. Glacius Moraxis is going to be the follow-up here for Trademark Esports. But now going back to Complexity again, they ran it a couple times at DreamHack, I want to say, and this was the DreamHack hero that really splashed onto the scene all of a sudden, and well, was even banned a lot more than even seen, but picked up here for Complexity. We'll see if the bird is going to be enough for them to come through and finish off this third and final game, or if it just won't be enough. And you know what? Oh, wow. Wow. This is not Beacon-like. What is going on?
I know.
Beacon go on the cheese. Balfagor Rhapsody.
This is pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not Complexity-esque, and it should be a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, no, with tdM having their Glacius Moraxis, that's very standard. They love Moraxis. They picked it in both grand final games at DreamHack, and had a decent amount of success with it. But it's one of their comfort heroes. But yeah, I'm really curious to see how Complexity goes about running this kind of strategy.
Yeah. Man, now see the fun thing about this is the Rhapsody is really cool for me, and I know that you did talk about this, yeah, with the Rhapsody Zephyr combination before. Torture is going to be the third and final regular pick actually, coming up for Trademark Esports. But yeah, if I'm Trademark, obviously you look at what you're dealing with over there on Complexity, you figure there's a good chance we might have to deal with a decent amount of push earlier on. So yeah, Torture is definitely going to be good against that. There's the Ophelia snap pick out of the lock pull. So again, had definitely an idea in mind there. For tdM, yeah, you'd think it's something maybe like a Keeper of the Forest Bubbles here.
Bubbles for sure. I mean, you're going to need some anti-push against that team.
Yeah.
You don't. The funny thing is, they always love picking Plague, but I think Plague would be completely awful here. They could still maybe even go Wretched Hag, but he's not that great against push himself. So yeah, Bubbles and how their lane's set up. Yeah, I would say Bubbles Keeper would be fantastic for them.
Yeah. So, of course, Minot's the captain for tdM. He's going to think about it a little bit, but wouldn't be surprised if those are the options. No, they're actually going to go Wretched Hag instead. Again, you mentioned this. It's a case of usually not a fantasy in the Wretched Hag suicide, but hey, it's being played by Zai, man. You can never not be a fan of that. So
yeah,
I'm sure that'll actually still be fine for them in the end. Now for Complexity, back to them. I guess Bubbles here actually makes a lot of sense. He'll even Plague Rider. So Bubbles and Plague Rider probably going to be coming out here for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doubt Polywog.
They could even do something. No, they even could do Polywog and go like a man-up tri-lane top with the solo Balfagor bottom or something weird like that. And no, they are going to go Bubbles. It's a little bit of a safer route, I suppose. And Bubbles with Zephyr, too, in combination, even Ophelia, just keeps them in place while you just do massive amounts of AoE damage. So, yeah, this should be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. Now, Rhapsody is an interesting hero in the sense that well, first, of course, she's great assistance when it comes to push, simply because of that Disco Inferno, which I remember when she first came out, the Disco Inferno was even more powerful. I think it now does, what, 50% damage against creeps or something like that. So it used to be the full, yeah, creeps take half damage. It used to actually do full damage to creeps even, and that was just ridiculous. But they did nerf that, after he came out, and eventually, wait a second. Oh, wow, yeah, they're mentioning that. Was that a... Interesting. Franzi's playing Balfagor, and Moomeander's playing bitch support here on the Rhapsody. So he's called for. He's like, yeah. So you obviously don't mean to do that, right? Apparently, okay. Apparently, there's server issues. Here.
Complexity says no.
Complexity goes. No.
But yeah, Peter, he actually plays a fine Balfagor. I will say, though, that when he plays it in pubs, he doesn't get boots. He feels that boots are just unnecessary on the hero. He just would rather just be a tanky mess. It doesn't really need to run around that much. And I'll say it does give you a lot more gold for other items that make you tanky.
Yeah. Okay, apparently tdM wants to remake here. I guess according to them, they're having some server issues. So, but here we go. What did we just say going into this matchup? That these two teams might not have the friendliest of history against one another. And let's just say Complexity may be holding a grudge that they weren't able to remake the match, or reschedule, I should say. So, well, see, this is where you'd kind of like an admin to step in, honestly, and just be like, all right, either remake or just don't. But, yeah, apparently MilkFat said to. But, yeah, so we will see what eventually happens.
Yep.
Try to message him.
Yeah,
I'm just going
to get some confirmation here.
Yeah, but yeah, this is going to be interesting, though, once this game eventually does get played. Of course, Moomiander, again, on the Rhapsody. Not that he will play a poor Rhapsody by any means, but Franzi on that Balf course. So you said maybe doesn't like to go the boots in the tdM, but we'll see if that's different here. But yeah, going back to Rhapsody, actually. Interesting hero. The Disco Inferno, very powerful for a pushing ability. Her staccato stun, I think it's actually very powerful. It's not your typical, burst damage stun, straight up by any means, but it's the ... It's pretty actually cool. Her third ability, I think, is actually the most underrated, though. Now, it probably isn't. Maybe I do overrate it, actually, now that I say that, but I think it's actually still cool just to remember that if she can get to the levels and eventually get to that point, I mean, get that maxed up, that's a pretty big deal for heroes like Zephyr, like Balfagor. As this game adds up, as kind of adding that lifesteal and almost to the armor penetration with the magic damage. So, and there we go. So, yeah, I guess you got confirmation there.
Yep.
That indeed they were supposed to remake. So, we're going to go ahead and have to remake. But then her ultimate, actually. Rhapsody's ultimate is a fun thing, too. Now, when you first, if you were first to read the ultimate or first see it, you may think, oh, yeah, being able to channel the full duration is pretty powerful, but good luck channeling the full duration. Even if you can't channel the full duration, just using it initially to absorb any of those burst abilities that initially come out, I mean, it's very useful for that. So even if you get it for like a half a second, it can still do a plenty for you. So that's something to keep in mind when you're dealing with Rhapsody and her ultimate. But are they going to remake a regular game or?
No, I think they're using the HoN client. That's what they're saying in Buddy Message. So. But, yep.
So, that does mean that, again, we will have to go through the lock-picking stage again. And then, are they in the game?
They're all in.
Trouble connecting, actually. Let's
yeah,
see.
it took me a couple times, too, but...
There, that guy. Hey, and there we go. Joining in perfect time, apparently. All right. Maybe I didn't. Okay, yeah, it is loading in. So, going to go through the lockpick stage once again. And so, again, we cross our fingers here and hope that everything happens correctly as far as the picks go and locks and everything. There's the bans. Just make sure you don't ban a wrong hero. Okay,
there's a lot of drama going around, I gotta say.
I don't have my buddy message on, so.
Well, apparently there's some things happening too in the other game,
really?
Where there's apparently Swindle Melons was very upset that they didn't pause when remember actually Keizu timed out.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't time out, but he was like lagging, even though they won that team fight. But was apparently very upset that they didn't pause, and was apparently just angry about that. Now they're going back and forth between.
Wait, so are they actually in a third game though?
They're in a third game. Yeah, they won that second game. Fortune Bakery won game 2.
But like we were saying, looking at the stats, it did look a little. I don't know. It does seem like maybe Vo just got frustrated and maybe just conceded. But
well, when we left too, I mean that last team fight, even though they were saying to pause, to be fair, it's not Fortune Bakery's fault at all. Like it's in the middle of a team fight.
No, of course not.
So. And they still won that team fight, honestly.
Yeah.
Because that was remember we were giving lots of credit to Z-Freak for playing so well in that Ophelia, canceling that Tempest Ultimate, which was pretty much got everybody that time. But
yeah. Is this right? Was Glacius part of tdM? I think he was.
Yeah,
so.
he was.
Okay, so here we go. Again, it's always so dangerous here.
I know.
Okay, so I think that looks good. So they're gonna first
Ophelia.
pick Rhapsody or Ophelia here.
We're good.
All right, should be good. 3 seconds. I take it's a USE server again.
Is it? Oh, nope, it's EU.
It's EU now. Apparently B-Kid is not a fan of that. Rhapsody. Gonna be picked up here. So again, you expect it to be obviously Torture Glacius. And then back to Complexity with Ophelia. So get the picks finished off here, and then we can all move on as far as this game goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yep, but I am very interested to see how the Zephyr Balfour Rhapsody, as you were talking about Rhapsody, even if you don't get the full duration of the ultimate off, it's very effective just for a split second. Like you see a Pyromancer ulti coming in, or you see a Wretched Hag, like perfect example, Wretched Hag. You can actually see the channeling coming out and just cancel that just for a split second, then walk away. So you don't need the full duration.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a really good point that you made.
Yeah. So even just getting something like obviously, you know, realistically getting a portal key even earlier on may not be the most realistic thing, but hell, just being able to get in the position to.
Wait, why are we remaking?
Apparently we're remaking again because the server isn't perfect for people. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah. We will move on with this.
Fortune Bakery, are they in their game?
So about going to the other series again? No, we wouldn't do that. Yeah, this game will be played. It's just freaking taking a little bit longer. Here.
Fortune Bakery's also still in the lobby themselves, so.
Wait, I thought they were in Game 3.
They remade it or something.
They must have remade it, yeah.
Let's get it
So that might have been why he was bringing that up of an issue in that game. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. We were not there. All right. All right. All right. All right. So, one more time. Who's down for one more time? Here in the lockpick stage.
See, who's to say that this is your third time, your final chance? Who's to say that the server is not worse?
Yeah.
You know, like
well, again, so I'm just gonna go ahead and remake it. Apparently, Biku was actually spiking in that server. So once it gets back up, then we'll move on here with game number 3. As this is not the fun part too, just typing everyone's name in. Trying to actually join up with somebody.
Yep.
If it actually works. I'll give it a minute here. So yeah, what are we at today? How about that Q Squad game? How did that go? How did that finish? The Q Squad versus.
Well, let's see who were they. They were playing Mega Beaver and.
It looks like it's over. Let's see, style. Let's take a look at your stats, buddy. I know people actually ask this. So the HoN Tour matches don't actually show up initially on over here on the right-hand side. It's still a bug. I know they are working on getting that fixed. But so if you click on just one of the more recent games, and then you actually click on the top of the list, it'll sometimes show up. Now in this case, it doesn't. So
if you do it for like a different
certain players, yeah, you have to go through a couple of the players, but eventually it will show up. I've never had a problem eventually getting it. In fact, here we go. Ooh. Wow. What? No.
What happened?
No. There's no way Pudge won this game.
Hold on. Let me check this out.
According to this, Pudge won this game.
I gotta check this out.
The levels, the goal, everything is
Okay,
in favor of Q Squad. Does it say Legion for you as
wow.
well?
What?
I mean, that is a push lineup, but
that is an
No.
Ophelia Keeper Balfagor, though. That is an Ophelia Keeper Balfagor, so.
I just want to download this replay and watch the very end. That's amazing.
They must have got racks early and just kept trying to push.
Here, I'll tab. See, check out the brackets real quickly. See if those actually say Pudge won. I mean, I'm just wondering maybe if that's screwed up.
It's FF.
They both forfeited. No, that didn't actually happen. That's just a bug.
I'm going to download this really quickly now that we have a.
Yeah, let's see. Are we actually okay? I'm in the lobby now. So yeah, you can go ahead and.
I will join the lobby momentarily.
You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to download it real quickly as well. While we are sitting here still waiting for the lobby.
It didn't download for me.
Oh,
there we go. I just have to hit watch replay.
That's crazy. I mean, if Pudge actually, damn, that is push at its finest. Push is becoming very popular. Push is becoming a go-to strategy for a lot of these teams. So that's actually pretty interesting. I'm gonna let them know we are good. By the way, good luck, have fun. I don't know if they were waiting on us. I just totally alt tabs. I should have done that. All right, so here we go. Looks like they are loading in.
Well, They got their racks to the 17-minute mark, as I expected.
Okay.
And it looks like they were losing fights after that, and they got another set of racks around. What is this? 24 minutes or so.
Jeez.
Yeah, so they got 4 racks down at 3 racks down at. No, yeah, 4 racks down at 25 minutes.
Crazy.
And just kept pushing, forcing the issue, and finally got it. So yeah, Q Squad wins.
No, Pudge wins.
Or not? Sorry, I'm stupid. Yeah, Pudge.
Ruin everything.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive, man. I mean, push strategies are fun to watch. That's crazy, man. The fact that Pudge actually won that. So, So I guess is it like a race in the end? I actually want you to go to the end round. I know people can't see this, so it's kind of like we're radio casting here. But yeah, it's wasn't really a race. It was more so they just
lost the final team.
Yeah, they won a fight, and then yeah.
And they actually won the game being at a 30,000 experience deficit. I'm not kidding.
Well, that's what I looked at the stats. You look at the levels, and it's like, oh, Q Squad clearly won. I click who won this game, and it's like Pudge. It's like, well, what? No, that's impossible. Well then, congrats to Pudge. And obviously that means Q Squad, they're actually now out of this cycle, or done with the cycle, I should say. So again, Pudge will be moving on there in the losers bracket, but granted, Q Squad, they are still in the Diamond Division for next cycle. The road will end here for them. Not going to be making it to next weekend. All right, here we go. Third time's a charm, right?
Well, Pika is actually pinging higher, but we're going to forget that point.
We're going to forget that ever happened. Is it? Well, I'm guessing it's Europe. So.
He was pinging like 200 before. Now I pinged him once. It was like 227, 230.
Okay, so both teams have the correct heroes, I believe. Yes.
Hooray.
Oh, wait, they switched it around. Moon's now in Balfagor, so they're not going to do that.
Okay.
Huh, interesting. Why would they? That wasn't even their choice to remake.
I know.
That was just so, I guess, just simply in the end, like, screw you, let's just do this.
Yeah.
So Franzi is going to play Rhapsody. I guess Moon will be playing Balfagor here. That would have been fun to see Franzi playing a little bit different of a role, at least. But nope, he's just going to play the Bitchward support. Okay. No pause yet. We are now actually in the game. It is commenced. Laning phase. What are we going to see? Moon Meander is right now sitting like he's going to go middle, actually. We got Zephyr, Rhapsody currently headed bottom. Of course, Chessie going down there as well on Ophelia, so Pseudo Trilane, Balfagor mid, and Bubbles top. It looks like is how it may be working out here for Complexity. To initially start, at least.
I'm excited to see this Rhapsody Zephyr lane in action. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. Staccato's powerful, man. Staccato's pretty powerful in the laning phase. Oh, throughout the whole game, it's honestly a pretty powerful stun to use. So that on top of that gust in from Zephyr could definitely maybe set up some kills. So works for them.
Beak is up in the top lane trying to get that ward down. It's not going to be the biggest deal in the world because he's all going up against a solo torture. I guess it's somewhat of a deal because Keeper could use that camp to farm and whatnot. But yeah, normally when you're up against a solo short and you're a suicide, warding the pull is not completely necessary. But still wants to take the safer route.
Yeah. Wants to make sure. Moraxis and Glacius are going to be lined up here in the middle lane. So we'll start out at 2 versus 1, but again, I'm sure we'll see Franzi on Rhapsody. So you're saying you're excited to see the Rhapsody Zephyr, but it's probably going to be a Rhapsody Balfagor instead, as I'm sure he'll eventually roam to the middle. And that'll leave Zephyr versus Hag here at the bottom lane. But for now, Franzi will at least start here at the bottom side. And we'll see exactly when she does move. But yeah, Moon Meander will have to resort to a 2 versus 1 to start things here. Not the biggest deal in the world. I mean, Glacius at the same time, though, will probably apply a lot of harassment to him and cause some issues here. So he's going to sit back and not really commit too much until maybe that transition happens.
I gotta say, actually, Rhapsody's not the worst hero in this metagame because there are so many suicide heroes. Like you can see, just he's forcing Hack to blink already. You can use your Q spell and use it a couple times. Obviously, you activate it a couple times to do some harass, and it doesn't aggro creeps, so it's a very effective tool to zoning out a suicide hero effectively. Yeah. And not screwing up the creep wave in the lane that you're in.
Yeah, it's definitely a very, very powerful tool. So,
but actually, Zephyr does lose lane control right there. They now have double archers, so that's going to be a big. Well, it's going to really suck for them in this bottom lane.
Well, Rhapsody will still continue to progress harassment on Zai playing this Wretched Hag, of course. But again, you gotta wonder a little bit when is Rhapsody eventually going to head to this middle lane here? Maybe after this creep wave push, but. In fact, nope, I thought she might have started skipping to go to it. But no, still going to sit in the lane for now and help out the Zephyr. But for the time being, Moon Meander really doesn't even have a creep kill. No, he does not. He can't even get a creep kill yet. Again, Insania doing a great job here on Glacius. There's a freeze even coming out. So the harassment is being applied and causing issues here for Moon Meander. So what do you make of that? I mean, Franzi's still not making the adjustment. Still sitting here at the bottom lane, helping out the Zephyr.
I think it's fine. I think moving into mid, first of all, against the Glacius, Moraxis isn't going to really do that much with your Rhapsody Balfagor lane. Also, the bigger issue is Wretched Hag, he's going to have he's going to have more experience if you leave because he's not sharing experience and you're not denying him experience, really. So if he levels up that haunt, even if you leave him and give him Zephyr a little bit of an edge, he can actually come back very effectively against, 1v1 against this Zephyr.
Yeah.
So he can't really leave until he maybe gets, okay, they do get that, I didn't see if, I don't know, maybe you saw Hag did get that ward off on the bottom. No, he didn't get the ward, so this is getting double stacked, and they need to utilize this to get the proper lane positioning back in the bottom lane. But if they do that, then maybe Rhapsody can look to leave, but yeah, he can't leave simply because Zephyr would get kind of screwed if she left this early.
As I mentioned earlier, I mean, Roland actually making a point right there that if you are interested in seeing the full match summary, that's actually of course, we kind of went back and forth a little bit, weren't able to see everything, but go to HoNtour.com after the game, and there will be a full match summary up there. Again, it's a great set. It really is just for a lot of content coming out, so people like Roland helping with that. So shout out to him. But
yeah,
so there you go. Now Franzi is going to do the pull here in the meantime, and the double stack as you mentioned, and even the Disco Inferno used. I love the Rock Rhapsody, different music it has as a result of that. But yeah, so the lane will be pushed back in favor for Zephyr, and again, maybe we'll see Franz go mid here, but maybe not. Maybe he'll just stay in the bottom lane. Balfour in the meantime, though, again, he still does not have a single creep kill, and he's level 3, so it's not horrible. But I don't know. Your Balfour is going to be completely underleveled and underfarmed here early on, and if you are going for more of a earlier push style strategy, you got to wonder if that will be the best thing for complexity here.
I think Balfour, yeah, and farm is important on him, but it's more important on Zephyr, I feel.
True.
Getting Zephyr that early farm, I think, is the biggest issue. And it looks like they're going to try to maybe push up very, very early for this team. So Zephyr is pushing up. You have one creep from Ophelia. She's not level 5 yet, but she is level 4 and has a Catman. So against a Wretched Hag too. Wretched Hag doesn't exactly have counter push, and even if Glacius comes down bottom to try to prevent, actually Moon doing a good job. He actually snipes out the rune, whatever that was. Was it taken? Yeah. It was actually killed by the minions from Moon, so good job there by him.
Very smart. Very smart. And Stania making it very clear that he was not a fan of what he did right there. The bottom tower is getting pushed in, like you said, though. We're only now 4.5 minutes in. The Catman champion is actually tanking the next creep wave. Zephyr will gladly go up there, though, and pick up the farm. There's a Disco Inferno being placed on. Is that a level 2? No, it's still level 1, actually. Going for the level 2 Staccato first. But yeah, this tower should fall. I mean, Wretched Hag is here, and the next creep wave is coming up right now. So yeah, this should fall. Will Zai be able to somehow deny this? I mean, in the meantime, the middle tower, though, is actually falling. Now, the bottom one goes down first, but the middle tower will also fall. So a 1-for-1 tower exchange. So focused on the bottom lane, all of a sudden the middle one gets pushed in favor of Trademark. So, well, that's pretty much a stalemate right there.
Yeah, I mean, the tdM is in a little bit of a better lead if you look according to the numbers, but and that's simply because you have the mismatch of Bubbles versus Torture, Suicide Lane, 1-on-1, whereas, Hag, it's 1-on-2. Even if Hag's not getting levels or that much farm, he's splitting it up between the Rhapsody and the Zephyr. Of course, Zephyr getting free farm, but splitting up his experience. So, and it looks like they're already going to take out some Ancients from tdM, so good decision making right there, just utilizing as many resources as they can early on.
Yeah, very, very smart indeed. So yeah, tdM, good play coming out from them all around. Top lane, how's that one going? Noob G versus the B-Kid Bubbles up here, and right now it is Noob G on Torture 24-9 compared to the 13-2 Bubbles. Obviously being won pretty effectively here by Noob G. He's on his way to finishing Steam Boots, and you just see the positioning advantage that he has. As soon as Bubble starts to come up a little bit, Torture will go past the creep wave, throwing some auto attacks, and even look to Agonizing Bonds if he gets close enough for chain reactions. But so Bubbles has to play very, very careful, and it is showing when it comes to the creep farm. Now Zephyr pushing up quite a bit here at the bottom lane. He's almost nearly at the secondary tower, but he's not too worried about getting jumped, I guess. With where heroes are currently on the map. So he's just going to continue to farm here at the bottom side. Haxrin is, but exactly what I was talking about. I mean, here comes a hasted Glacius, tries to custom Wretched Hag, but might be turned on the Sonar Screen coming out. He's not level 6 just yet, so will not be able to Typhoon, but he does have the Cyclones to use, but the hasted Glacius going to apply a lot of pressure here, and the Blinking Sonar Screen from Wretched Hag will guarantee the Bloodlust kill on top of it all. So Haxrin overstayed his welcome. Just a little bit too long there.
I think it would have been fine if they had like a ward somewhere bottom, but they have nothing. The only ward they have is in the top river. And yeah, for that reason, you can't see any runes, at least in the bottom way. You can't see any potential ganks or roaming coming your way. And without the haste, he would have been fine, but like I said, with Wretched Hag leveling up that haunt as he should against Zephyr, it's a very effective tool against Zephyr. makes it very difficult to continue laning against him.
Yeah, and this middle tower, it's already about half life, dropping very, very quickly now. Cupid the Force, Moraxis, and Glacius are all here. Can they deny the tree is not going to be enough? Actually, Cupid the Force getting locked down now. He gets gusted in, but the Nature's Veil will keep him more than fine. But a great tower kill, actually, for Complexity. Able to get the last hit right there. It's a good attempt on the deny, but not successful. But even after that, it's still a fairly decent lead, both in a golden experience right now for Trademark Esports, because in the meantime, Wretched Hag actually pushing out the bottom lane, and Torture continuing to do very well here up top. In fact, he's up there with the best of the game as far as GPM goes. Now, Bubbles jumping in, though. Out comes the Kelfo, putting the trap on. Is it going to be enough for Chase? Like great Skeleton King net right there. There's a song I did see. The Minotaur's done, and the chase will be successful in favor of the Legion team. Trademark Esports Noob G will fall. And now they may push this top lane as a result. So I was wondering a little bit about that Kelfo from B-Kid, but it did eventually set up the kill.
Oh no, that was fantastic. I mean, you saw the creeps coming from Chessie right away, and set up a very easy kill. The one thing about Torture is this: yeah, she got very, very good farm up top in a mismatched lane for her, but it's very easy to kill him. Very easy to kill Torture early on, and they have a lot of aggression coming out from this team. Lots of push potential. Look at that, and look at some trading going on in both, in actually two different lanes. tdM wants to push both mid and bottom. And now what actually Complexity should do, in my opinion, is just back off. They need to defend these towers. Don't start trading one-to-one. You need more resources than tdM this early on. I
mean, look at the secondary middle tower. It is dropping quickly. Now, Complexity, it's almost as if they're going to be ready to port back immediately, but they need to do it soon. I mean, vulnerability, nothing. They're going to lose the secondary tower. Yeah. That's Complexity is starting to fall behind here early on, especially with that coming out. Now, again, it's not overwhelming by any means, but Trademark Esports, the fact that they've already pushed a secondary tower, we're now only 8.5 minutes in. Damn, I mean, there's a lot of pushing going on. We knew it may be expected from the Legion team in Complexity, but Trademark Esports even doing a little bit more themselves. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this takes me back about a year ago, where we saw this kind of metagame just every single game. Lots of pushers, lots of tanky heroes just attacking the buildings, and that was that. But in that instance, Complexity should have definitely ported back to mid. They didn't really do anything up top. They just kind of sat there for one more creep wave, maybe took out a couple of neutral camps, but that was it. Minot's in a little bit of trouble. He actually isn't even... No, he gets caught out right here. He does get the root. Not enough mana for an invis right now at the moment. Running away. He does have one spell into that passive, giving him actually a lot of movement speed. He does get the invis up, but there's a sentry coming out from Franzi, so good job by him. Minots will fall.
No, I'm not sure. That must have been a misclick, but he was actually blocking Balfour a little bit right there. So he went in invis initially. Balfour saw him, but he went in invis. I thought he was going to be fine, but he actually auto-attacked Balfour out of the invis all of a sudden. And then I was like, okay, but then that's where we saw the collapse happen from Complexity. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that was just simply a misclick there from Cupid the Fourth, because it made absolutely no sense for him to put an auto-attack out onto himself. But that did result in his death, so an unfortunate mistake. Will mean he's now dead, and Zephyr, again, being played by Haxer in here, despite his death he had earlier on. He's farming. This is what Zephyr does, especially in a free farming lane, and we'll start to take off to an extent. The early snowball here, 390 gold per minute. But again, the thing to keep in mind, especially as we saw last game, it's a team effort in the end. And as great as Haxer was last game, a madman as far as high as GPM he had and what else. But Trademark Esports still as a team just was that much better. And right now, it's kind of that case here, just at a smaller sample size. So,
yeah, they really can't let up though. Like especially giving like Moraxis a portal key would be really, really bad for him. He's actually very close himself. Farming top in his team actually, 353 gold per minute, and they're sitting right now just kind of doing their own farm thing on the jungle, top lane B-Kid. They're ancients as well. It looks like Franzi might be stacking those with. Yeah, he's going to stack those ancients for now, but they, in my opinion, they really shouldn't be letting up. It's going to give them tdM way too much farm to kind of bounce back and get farm on a team that's going to have the late game with Wretched Hag.
Balfour kind of doing his thing here in the middle lane, spawning the 5 minions, and actually Zephyr joining the party as well as Rhapsody, so, and even Ophelia joining. So, yeah, all 5 are going to collapse here in the middle lane for Complexity. Want to make a little bit of a push happen. Now, tdM is definitely ready this time. They got Hag, Torture, and Glacius already here. They have one player pushing the top, one player pushing the bottom, more Axis, and Keeper the Force doing their thing. Will they commit to some defense here, though? Are we going to see a vulnerability? It doesn't look like it. Nope, there is a vulnerability, but there is absolutely no deny attempt, so it'll just easily fall there. For Complexity. Now, Keeper the Force is pushing the top turn in the meantime, and he will be successful with that, actually. There's a port coming in, but I think he should be fine as Bubbles comes in, but yeah, not going to be able to stop him. So, 1 for 1 at least.
1 for 1, yeah. And that usually favors the I mean, if it took you 5 heroes to group up and push one tower, whereas Keeper could do it by himself, it always favors the one hero, because that means you're getting just way more experience. And if you look at the numbers, reflect that. tdM still winning actually in gold because of those tradings, and then because those tradings were much more beneficial to tdM because they were only using one hero. They're actually at a very large lead. Well, I shouldn't say very large, but a significant lead in experience.
Matrix being activated. They're going to jump Zephyr right here. It's going to be enough burst damage. The Babylon's coming out. In comes the recursion here from Balfagor. We're going to see HoN Newworth. Nowhere now. He doesn't have enough mana for it, actually. But the Typhoon from Zephyr, keeping him alive. And Zephyr, man, that is exactly what he'll do. He stays on. There's the HoN Newworth. It's garbage day in the background. Calacious is going to fall right here. The Minotaur's done to assist with that. Wretched Axe blinking away. But a 2-for-0, a double tap coming up for Jesse right there. But most importantly, perhaps, Haxorus stays alive on Zephyr. And now they're going to group up and push. Man, that Zephyr hero gets the Typhoon down. He's a bitch to kill.
He really is. I mean, that's one of those scary heroes. You've got to burst him down, or it's going to be hell to pay. I mean, he is very, very tanky. And he's going the tanky route. Where did he go? Did he get ported back? Oh, he's like full mana, full HP. What the hell?
Yeah, he got healed up, a full mana, like you said. We do have a ported coming from more actions actually. They are going to jump. That's Balfagor, I believe. Yeah. In the meantime, Keeper of the Root's going to be the Rhapsody ultimate. That was just a second too late. I don't even think it would have mattered though in the end, as they both will fall. So a couple of casualties there. They got the tower right. You know, it was denied actually. My notes on Keeper of the Forest did deny it. So good play there. Actually, a pretty good response from Trademark Esports, despite what happened initially. And now they are going to make a counter push themselves. So gonna get maybe a tower out of this.
They shouldn't have been pushing there. I mean, especially with Beacon showing himself in the top lane. That gives a lot of heads up to tdM. Like, there's really no reason we can't defend this right now. Our heroes are respawning right now. We'll be fighting 4 on 5. They use their big spells, meaning basically the ultimate from Balfagor and the Typhoon from Zephyr on top of the ultimate from Chessie. So that was just an overextension from Complexity.
God, we already have 5 to 4 tower kills down in favor of Complexity, but 5 to 4, we're only 14 minutes in. Both teams just mass pushing here in terms of tower kills. And this is a crazy game here indeed. Arcana just picked up by Zai there on Wretched Hag, so guess what? Wretched Hag being played by Zai is not the greatest start against the Zephyr and the Rhapsody at the bottom, but all of a sudden 330 gold per minute and on his way to a Hellflower. Shocker, shocker. I know. Torture has a tablet picked up, and you got, of course, Keeper of the Forest, the Astrolabe, as well as the Plate of Greaves, and the 1,000 gold saved over him. Then there's more axes. He's had that portal key for a while now. He's definitely used it a couple times and going from there. So as far as Complexity is concerned, again, a lot of it is pulled up on that Zephyr. But at the same time, I mean, still, Ophelia and Bubbles are actually up there as well themselves. Bubbles working on the portal key, 1,500 gold saved up. Ophelia has a Resource Astrolabe. And then Balfagor, he's recovered a lot. I mean, it's only 260 gold per minute, but remember, this is a guy that was getting 0 creep kills for the first, like, 8 minutes of this game, it seemed like. So, Move Meter's at least good for right there.
Yeah, Torture now has a push tablet, and that's fantastic against Zephyr. I mean, when we talk about what kind of counters you can have against Zephyr, push tablet is probably up there as the top one.
Yeah.
So if they can get more of that, that'd be fantastic. The only other contender maybe is, well, Wretched Hag, I suppose, could get one. Maybe Keeper could get one. But, yeah, you want to mass tablets, especially, well, even against Balfagor, too. I have said a number of times in the past, I don't think tablet's that great against Bubbles, but when you have Zephyr and Balfagor that you're playing against, it's probably, well, it's very optimal.
Yeah. Well, definitely a powerful tool to use against them. So, Wretched Hag, a little bit careful. I think she should be fine in the end. In fact, she blinks away right there. You saw the train coming over here from Complexity. Well, it ends up being all 5 heroes, but not able to catch here. But they will group up, and looks like as if they're maybe going to push this top lane. They feel pretty comfortable that they can start doing this now. Is this you agree with this?
I think this is. I think they have to. Honestly, I think they can't let up because Wretched Hag is going to get too much farm and take this to the late game. So I think they have to push this. I don't think it's really an optimal decision because it is kind of risky. They are down in both gold and experience, but they have the other lanes pushed out. This is the last outer tower for tdM.
Yeah, true.
So it's only logical that they are pushing this. Beak is actually walking back to get his blink, so hopefully they don't initiate a fight without him.
Well, I wonder, it doesn't seem like tdM's interested in defending it anyways.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to fall. So now in the meantime, that's because they are pushing the middle lane, if you see. But that is whole outer towers now destroyed in favor of Complexity. Is Complexity going to port back? No, they're not. They're going to keep the push going, it looks like. So, Keeper the Force and Wretched Hack, they're pushing into the base, but they're realizing very quickly that they will need to get back. And Vulnerability already used. More Axis not diving in just yet. Still in the background. Just throwing out some Axis currently, but we'll see if he jumps in with that Portakey eventually. Complexity, though, still going to play fairly passive here. And they're going to kind of fall back and regroup. Remember the Rhapsody, if she can get that timing on her ultimate off appropriately, can be pretty powerful. But no, they're going to start porting back. And it's not worth breaking into the base just yet. We are only 17 minutes in. It seems like we're like 50 minutes into the game right now because of just how mass push this has been. But
yeah,
nope, we're only 17.5 minutes into this game. So not the biggest deal that they are going to fall back here and decide to farm a little bit more. But eventually, they will go for it, of course.
They're losing out on a lot of experience, though. But I think they realize smartly that they can't really push into the high ground without having a barrier idle. I think that's the biggest thing. For Complexity at this moment. They realized there was a lot of farm to be had in mid, there was a lot of farm to be had in bottom, and actually I was thinking about it, but Boots of Travel, or sorry, Post Haste could actually be very, very effective here, especially synergized with Ophelia's Judgment.
Yeah.
Sending people back, like in that instance right there, you want to go back and defend your push, but you want to stay there resources in the enemy jungle. So what's the best way to do that? Send them back with Ophelia's Judgment, come back with Post Haste. So it's a very effective tool, especially in push strategies like this, but they probably won't get it, but just throwing it out there, it would be very effective.
By the way, speaking of post, I mean, you mentioned it earlier. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious on stream, too. I honestly wasn't even aware of that change. Do you know when that happened?
Just recently.
It must have been very recently, because, yeah, like I said, I wasn't even aware of that change, but you said it, though, I think we're talking about Wild Soul it was.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, when Strider's in, that can lead into post. I'm like, what? Yeah, so. Sure enough, it does, though. So, hey, if I wasn't aware, I couldn't be the only one out there. So,
I think at first I actually heard the change, and I was like, but wait a second, that means you have to spend an extra 300 gold on post haste if you buy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful. But they're like, no, post haste cost 300. Yeah, 1900, so it's 300 less. And I was like, that's a good change. Also because you can't split up your Striders. So if you try to split up your say you have Ghost Marchers and you try to change it into post haste, you can change it up and sell your punch daggers. But if you try to switch up your Striders before, or actually right now, you still can't do that. Yeah. So it goes in quite nicely now.
Yeah. Yeah, solid change indeed. The Battlefield minion is going to go in right here and scout things out as a team, but not going to get too much information just yet. So Zephyr does actually have a Soul Sport now picked up. The Barrier Idol is definitely in the works here for Moomiander playing this Battlefield, and again, maybe it's something like that they're really looking for before they do kind of just make that all-important push into the base. But yeah, we're still fairly early on in the game, only 19.5 minutes in. You did mention Wretched Hag, though, is going to start to get more and more scary. I mean, the team as a whole, again, it's just, as a team, they are looking very strong. Sure, Zephyr is ultimately in the lead, being played by Haxton here, as far as GPM goes, at least 462 gold per minute. But that only means so much, so, drop something right there. But anyways, yeah, well, right now we are kind of more in a farming state, just passing that 20-minute mark here. In what is game number 3, again, if you just happen to be tuning in, you've missed out on plenty, to say the least. Thinking about the VODs for this are actually going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's we are in game number 3, so of course, the winner of this will advance on to the winners bracket finals here in the Diamond Division. And the loser will, well, of course, be dropped down to the losers bracket, being a double elimination tournament. So, had a great series so far, as expected, though, in terms of what they have played.
Yeah, but as expected, I thought this might happen, but it's kind of interesting that it is a push lineup, but have gotten to a little bit of a more passive state of this game. tdM is still in the lead at a comfortable lead of 2,000 gold, almost, 5,700 experience, but yeah, this kind of worries me. I mean, like I said, they're probably just waiting for that barrier. Moon is very close to that, just need about another creep kill, and they'll have that, so once they get that, they really need to not let up. They need to be pushing. They should know that they will not win this late game against a Wretched Hag. Shrunken Head is up actually on Miraxis. Very interesting pickup.
You mentioned that before.
Yeah.
It is, was it Limp as well? I don't know
I think so.
Was it? Yeah, it's something that's telling me that might have been him, actually. So maybe just likes that Shrunken Head choice on a Miraxis. So we'll see what kind of use he makes out of that. Now, tdM, they were doing a little bit of push themselves in the middle, but of course they do fall back. As Complexity also falling back, and actually Zephyr, Miraxis was a step away from
Rhapsody.
Quake Stunning. But yeah, Rhapsody, you're probably still dead. In fact, he's like, big port! Not going to work, buddy.
Well, the worst part about that, they got the bound die now from them.
Oh yeah, that's
They
true.
snatched it up. I feel like he should have known he was dead. He needed to kill that bound die.
Yeah.
And well, another bound die was purchased yet by Ophelia,
Ophelia.
but nonetheless, they're going to have one of their own tdM that is, and they're going to be able to do some counter warding.
Yeah, Meraxis will gladly take advantage of that, and he's already trying to use it right there, porting to the uphill, but. Yeah, big, nice little pick-off right there, I should say, coming out from tdM. And again, it's a gradually growing as far as lead goes. It's now 3,300 gold lead, 6,500 experience lead for Trademark Esports. So, just like, kind of like last game too, where it just started to gradually grow and all of a sudden just really took off. tdM again continuing to be in a fairly good spot when you look at it that way. Barrier Idol has been finished on Balfagor. So as I was saying, maybe that was going to be key. Actually, Beastart just picked up by Zephyr, so going to be going for that in Behemoth Start actually. And I think that's all. We've talked about this in the past though. I don't want to say dangerous thing about that, but Zephyr is deceptively tanky. I mean, his armor is not the highest, and he is going more life, which is great against a lot of magic damage and whatnot. Which honestly, this HoN team is a lot about. So. Maybe that is for the better in the end.
The only thing about this is kind of all in, because normally you don't want to buy a Beast Heart when you already have a Helm of the Black Legion, because when it comes to late game, you can just split up your Helm of the Black Legion and use that Beast Heart for Behemoth's Heart. And so this is kind of like a waste of gold if you're thinking about the long term. But at the same time, if you're thinking about long term, you're probably going to lose the game anyway against the Wretched Hag, who, by the way, has her Hellflower. And then the Blink, and then you also have the Shrunken Head up both on Torture and Meraxis. I don't know. They spend a lot of time to getting those core items like Barrier Idol, but that's really all they got. And in response, tdM got 2 Shrunken Heads and a Hellflower. So I don't know how this is going to look for Complexity as they try to push into the high ground right now.
Well, yeah, we'll see if they actually do commit to it. Again, they are definitely pushing up the lane, and we're going to see a Barrier Idol use. Yes, we are. So this is a pretty good commitment coming up for Complexity and Vulnerability used right away here from Trademark Esports. Poor coming in from Wretched Hag. When will Meraxis jump in? When will he find that prime spot? You see the Disco Inferno placed down by Rhapsody. And actually, Complexity is going to start falling back again. So, because in the meantime, look what, no, those were just illusions down here. But the illusions may actually kill the tower if they're not careful. But here we go. Initiation is going to happen right there. Balfagor going to be jumped by Meraxis in the background. Bubbles jumps in with the Song of Sea. Matrix going to be activated, though, in the background for Meraxis. There's still no root coming out or anything. Typhon has not been used just yet by Zephyr. There's the hell new one, but Zephyr's dropping quickly, and he'll fall to the ground. Meraxis with another quick stun. Torture in the midst of it all, just melting them away. Glacius, the only one dead. Bubbles is just porting away. Nice catch there from Limp on Meraxis. And chain reaction is going to miss, actually. So Bubbles may still have some hope right here. Never mind. He's going to be sniped out. And a genocide for Trademark Esports.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, they just melted. Melted away. Bat Blast, I'm sure, was big.
That's got to be a horrible move. This is similar to what we casted just a second ago. It's like, well, all-in strat failed. Like, you pushed. You had the better pushing lineup by far. But you just waited too long to get the core items that you wanted. And like I said, in the meantime, you're trying to get your core items, but tdM just got theirs. They were much better items on more late-game heroes, and then they won that team fight handedly. So it's basically over. I mean, there's still maybe game left to be played, but they're at a significant deficit. And just the fact that you cannot win a team fight now, you can't really gank with these heroes. Like, no. Bubbles can maybe gank, but who the hell are you going to gank?
Yeah.
Like by yourself. So it's going to be nearly impossible to get back in this game for Complexity.
Yeah.
They just waited too long.
Yeah. They waited too long. So.
And you think about other, like, not just waiting too long. That's a simple answer as to why they lost. But look at intricate things. Pushing that secondary bottom tower. That was the big one. They got the kill, and they kept trying to push, but they didn't have Beat Kid. He was up on top lane, and he was showing himself. It wasn't like he was hiding. tdM knew that they didn't have Beat Kid, so they capitalized, and they should not have pushed that secondary bottom tower.
That gold per miniature, that is interesting, man. You have Zephyr on top for the Legion team, and then look at that. Trademark Esports, 4 out of their 5 heroes are basically on level with Zephyr, like exactly on level with Zephyr. Yeah. That's an insane graph right there. I've never seen it like that before. But Trademark Esports just playing as a team. We stressed it last game, and it showed the last game, and eventually pulled through with victory for them. Here in game number 3, doing the exact same thing, and it is showing in the stats and whatnot. So, Keeper of the Forest is going to actually sit on Kongor here. He's going to eventually be joined by at least a couple of his teammates. So, Kongor is going to start falling. There's 0 vision here for Complexity. But again, Complexity they're in a very dire spot. They are really in a desperate spot. Even they are just going to group up again and try to make a push up here. But at this rate, I believe Congo is going to fall here. And so not only will they try to push up into the base at a deficit, but they're also going to have to deal with the token of life. Okay, never mind. Moraxis is going to pour it out. Actually, he almost got stunned. That would have been silly, but
yeah,
it's like, well, that was a wasted port. But here we go. Complexity is like, again, this is kind of what they need to do at the same time, though. Really, do they have many other options? Aren't going to win the farming game at this rate, so.
Right.
Barrier Idol is activated with a massive creep wave. I don't know if invulnerability is actually up just yet. I don't think it is. So yeah, the tower should fall right here, but again, will that be enough? Balfour already up to 57 charges. Of course, he's looking for 80-plus charges for that sweet spot there, as far as having the massive creeps that spawn and everything. But again, Complexity now starting to fall back. Moraxis in the front ground. He will stop it, and he jumps right there. Gets a quick shot on his Zephyr. It's going to be that first damage. No, it's not just yet. Are we going to see a Typhoon? That Typhoon coming out. The Root has not been used. Just in the background. Rhapsody ultimate going off, actually. But now Shield starting to get some damage. The Root did go off. Balfour fell. I don't even know if he did a Hell on New Earth. I don't think he did. And actually, Zephyr now gusting, but he's going to be picked off. I heard a vote to concede. The GG well plays are being called, and Trademark Esports will officially defeat Complexity Gaming here in the winners bracket semifinals. So congratulations to tdM. They are moving on to the winners finals. Complexity, they will fall to the losers bracket here. tdM has Complexity's number lately.
They
Not
do.
gonna lie. The stats don't lie.
The stats don't lie. I mean, they're playing really well. They're just making better decisions. Honestly, it's not even so much picks, although I will say Complexity that game, it seemed like, I mean, I know they've run Zephyr, but Balfagor Rhapsody on top of that, just, I don't know if that really fits their style, so to speak.
Yeah.
They had a good idea, and they've run the same kind of style before, with just pushing all the time with Zephyr and not letting up, but they had a much better start in those other games. And they didn't make poor decisions, and tdM capitalized on those poor decisions and played well. They massively farmed every little bit that they could from the beginning to the end, and, well, it shows.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I mean, that was a fun series to watch. Again, what we got to watch of it, obviously, it did have its issues, but hey, you know, we made it through the day. We still got the series played, and like I said, when the match was played, it was actually very entertaining to watch. And Trademark Esports, though, they do defeat yet again Complexity. Like I said, they have their number in the sense. What is that? That's 3 series in a row, actually, when you think about it. So this one, of course, that DreamHack in the finals, and then just before that, the HoN Tour qualifiers. They defeated them 2-1 as well. So Complexity, it seems like they were the top dog for all that time, but Trademark Esports knows what they're doing against them, and hell, the last community rankings, Trademark was given that top seeded by the community.
Yeah.
Something tells me, especially at this rate, you know, that may continue. So,
yeah.
But again, Complexity, they are still in the tournament and very likely could once again get a rematch if they fight their way through the losers bracket and make it to the grand finals. And, you know, once again, that would be a fun game to watch, fun series to watch. So we'll see if it eventually gets to that point. But that is going to do it for ultimately our coverage today. Another long day here at HoNcast, but we got multiple series even covered there to a certain extent. So that was kind of interesting. Well, that is going to do it, though, Truff. Any final words from yourself?
Be kind. Don't pick good servers.
Yes.
Don't lag. And if you are going to get a haircut this season, make sure you wear a beanie.
There you go. That's important.
Yes.
So you're looking forward to that, I'm sure.
Yes.
All right, guys. All right. That is going to officially do it for today. So once again, another fun day in the books here on HoNcast. Plenty of content coming out, and if you did miss any of it, we'll do our best, of course, to get all the VODs up as soon as possible and check it out. So HoNcast.com, as I really mentioned, HoNtour.com. There's plenty of content going on there daily, so definitely check out that. A lot of fun as always, but we are going to be wrapping things up. I believe we are planning to come back next on Tuesday. I'm not 100% certain on that, but again, stay tuned to our Facebook and whatnot, and of course even the HoNcast.com website, and we'll have updates for you there. But, well, until we see you next time, of course, from myself, Tralfador here, at TralfHon on Twitter.
And at BreakyCPK.
You can go to @HoNcast for the HoNcast Twitter, Facebook/HoNcast. You know all that. Shout out to Killer One. Shout out to you guys tuning in. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.